Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in an exclusive interview with Network 18, the first that she is giving to a private channel after her budget speech. The markets have given her a huge thumbs up, with the Sensex bouncing 2,200 points. It is the highest bounce in absolute terms ever, and a 5% jump is the highest in 22 years. Let's go straight to her with our questions. Nirmala ji, it has been a really, really tough year for you, but I think you have every reason to smile today. As I was saying, the Sensex has really bounced 2,200 points. Did you really expect this, and how do you feel?
No, I still have not even seen what kind of reactions are coming up, because after the presenting of the budget, I'm moving from one to another in terms of meeting people and giving television and news media, print media interviews. So I've actually not followed what is the development either in the markets or anywhere else. I hope the intention of 2 or 3 major points which have come across in the budget is well understood and well received. And if it is being received, I'll be happy, because after all, we want the country to understand the intent of this government.
It has been a tough year. You know, you've presented this budget in the backdrop of a once-in-a-century pandemic, and also with a highly aggressive neighbor, external aggression from China. What were you really thinking about when you were framing this budget?
One thing was clear. If I had more resources to give, I would have given it to the people as much as we can. But we hadn't that kind of a comfort. We didn't have it then, we don't have it yet. We soon can hope to have it. And also the fact that even during the pandemic, the small amounts that we gave to some people only, not to very many, were partly also kept aside, and I don't blame anybody for it. Kept aside, saved for probably rainy days, because the uncertainty is such. So the question of giving money to people so that immediately demand push will happen, and through that people will be expected to spend, also had a question with it, saying will they spend or will they keep it aside for rainy days. Also, spending will result in immediate demand increases, no doubt, possibly if they spend, but will it be a meaningful trigger for a virtuous cycle to be triggered off? Unless that spending happens in those sectors where the multiplier will work, there's no point in spending in areas which the multipliers are, where the multipliers are weak. That is why we have taken this route of qualitative expenditure, capex through infrastructure building, capex for health, so that you bring in such infrastructure and such facility for health, and there take an approach of holistic health, and then look at agriculture. And that is why we have gone through this route. So that is one side of the story, and the other, I certainly didn't want to fund this whole operation through taxation. By increasing tax, getting the money and then spending is not something which any of us even put on the table for consideration. So that is why I have made provision for large borrowings, with the tax buoyancy kept at a very conservative level, and with disinvestment, asset monetization and improved GST collection. I hope we'll be looking at better ways of handling our finances.
In many ways, the economic survey was a harbinger of things to come. Your government is finally now going for aggressive growth without so much worrying about what the fiscal hawks would say. For a government which has been fiscally prudent and conservative, do you think this is some kind of a U-turn or a turning point in the way you look at the future?
No, I don't, because it is one thing to be conservative and fiscally prudent, and at normal times. Even now, if you notice, when people kept telling, oh, print money, you spend, you have to spend. And I also made a conscious statement that if I don't spend now, I will only be postponing the growth, and I have to spend. That is clearly a conscious statement that I made. So given the situation that we are in, The stimulus was absolutely necessary. Quality expenditure is what we were looking for, and that is why